Hello, Bob.
Why, good gracious, we weren't expecting you back till Tuesday.
Yes, I know.
Why ever didn't you let us know you were coming, Miss Pretty Boy? Your mother should have been at the station to meet you. The idea of a child like you wandering all over London by yourself. I never did. How didn't you get in? By the garden, I suppose?
No, front door. I rang and took open it.
Where did it come from? The catwalk?
Upstairs. The taxi man came up.
Taxi man? You took a taxi all by yourself? Well, I don't know what little boys are coming to. What your father and mother will say, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good. What?
Oh, yes. It's Sunday, isn't it?
What's the matter with you? Oh, they don't do it, Osborne.
What do you mean?
Maybe a bit soft in the head or something. Well, I suppose I better get going. Master Dickey's been using your precious drawer for all his dress clothes and things. I'll just clear him out and put him on his bed. That's what I'll do. He can find room for him somewhere else.
Well, what's it?
I know your help. With your help, I'll be at it all day. No, you just wait down here till my own time. He'll be back in a minute. Well? Yes? There's a little kid. Oh, you're too grown up for that now. Sorry, Father. That's better. My little big boy you're getting. Like the little naval officer, aren't you?
Yes. That's right.
Well, I must be getting along.
And he's so old, Arthur, from the back of the church you can hardly hear a word that he says.
He's a good man, Bruce.
And what's the use of being good if you're inaudible?
There was a problem at ethics for you, Father.
Grass, Grace.
Oh dear, it's coming on to rain.
I'm on Mother's side. The old boy's so doddery now, he can hardly finish the course at all. I timed him today. It took him 75 days from a flying start to reach the pulpit. Then he needed a whip coming around the bend and call that pretty bad going.
I'm afraid I don't think that's very funny, Richard.
Don't you, Father?
The doctor couldn't suggest may seem doubt. I very much doubt that when he was Oxford, the trial was passed on.
Oh, dash it, Father. You promised not to mention that again in the back.
You did, you know, Arthur.
There's a condition to my promise, if you remember. The vicar should provide me with reasonable evidence of his intentions to work.
Well, haven't I, Father? Didn't I say it all last night? Saturday night and work?
You say it, Dicky. I will be the last of my lads.
You were making rather a lot of noise with that old gramophone of yours, dear. I can hardly believe you could have been getting much work done with all that going on.
Funnily enough, Mother, it helps me to concentrate.
Concentrate on what?
Work, of course.
And what you appeared to be concentrating on when I came down to fetch a book? Sleep, might I say, everything read it out of the question by the hideous sounds emanating from this room.
Oh, when Wiener and her brother just looked in on their way to the Grand Dance. They only stayed a minute.
And what an idiotic girl that is. Oh, sorry, Nicky, I was forgetting. You're rather keen on her, aren't you?
You would have ample proof of that, Grace, if you'd seen in any attitude in which I found them last night.
Practice the bunny hug. The bunny hug is evening on.
You'd like to doesn't talk any more, did you? I thought that was the tango.
Now, more like a foxtrot, really. Something between a Boston glide and a tango little fox.
We're here to be straight from the point. Whatever animal was responsible for the position I found you in has little to do with the fact that, to my certain knowledge, you've not yet done one single stroke of work so far this occasion.
Well, I do work awfully fast, you know, once I get down to it.
Indeed, that assumption can hardly be based on experience, I think.
Oh, dash it, Father, you are laying into it this morning.
Hasn't it time you found out, Dicky, that I'm not spending £200 a year keeping you at Oxford merely that you may make a lot of useless friends and learn to dance the bunny hop?
Hug, Father.
That description of obscenity is immaterial.
Father's right, you know,
It's nearly over now.
Well, I do wish you was good about work as Ronnie.
Oh, I like that. That's a bit thick, I must say. Oh, Ronnie, it has to do with proofing his homework to add 2 and 2. While
Ronnie, may I remind you, is at least proving a good deal more successful at adding 2 and 2 than you
Oh,
are.
yes, I know. He got into Osborne and I failed. That's going to be brought up again.
No, but it's bringing it up, dear.
Oh, yes, they are. It's going to be brought up against me all my life. Ronnie's the good little boy, I'm the bad little boy. You've just stuck a couple of labels on us and nothing on earth is ever going to change.
Oh, don't be so sad,
Not
dear.
absurd, it's quite true. Isn't it, Kate?
Oh, I'm sorry, Vicky. I haven't been listening. It was what I did.
That's in the eyes of mother and father. Nothing that Ronnie does is ever wrong, and nothing that I do is ever right.
Oh, well, I leave you to be dear. I'd go ahead. Now it's my job before lunch.
Perhaps you're right.
If you're going to your room, I would suggest that you take that object with you. It's out of place in the drawing room. It might help you to concentrate on the work you're going to do this afternoon.
That is out of the question, I'm afraid.
Indeed? Why?
I have an engagement with Miss Gunn.
On a Sunday afternoon. You're escorting into the National Gallery, no doubt.
No, the Victoria and Albert Museum.
Stupid thing for him to say about labels when there's no truth in it at all, is there, Kate?
No, Mother.
Oh, dear, it simply tells me. What are you reading, Kate?
And then Roger's memoirs.
Who's Len Rogers?
The trade union leader.
Does John know you're a radical?
Oh, yes.
And the suffragette?
Yes, sir.
And he still wants to marry you?
He's going to.
Oh, by the way, I told him to come early for lunch, so he can have a little talk with Father first.
Oh, good idea. I hope you've been kind, have you, Father?
And what's that?
You know what you're going to say to John, don't you? You're not going to let me down or anything to this man. Because if you do, I warn you, I shall know.
Never fear, my dear. I'm far too delighted with the prospect of getting off her hands at last.
Oh, I'm not sure I like that at last. You love him, dear. John, yes, I do. That's such a funny girl. You don't show your feelings much, do you? You don't behave as though you were in love. And how does one behave as one's in love?
One doesn't read Len Rogers. One reads violence.
I do both.
An odd combination.
A satisfying one.
I think you don't talk about him much.
No, I suppose I don't.
I think you modern girls have the same feelings out in their age. It's this new woman,
Oh, very well, Mother.
I love John in a way that every woman can love a man, and far, far more than he loves me there. You Kate, darling. I'm not afraid anything quite like that. What are you laughing at, Arthur?
Why not put a new woman?
Nonsense. She misunderstood me, that's all. Oh, dear, just look at that rain.
Oh.
Kate, darling, does Deborah know about you and John?
Oh, I haven't told her. On the other hand, he hasn't been. He must be very dense.
He is very dense.
Oh, no. Why, whatever if you really get under his skin.
Oddly enough, I've never had that inclination.
But I think he's rather a dear. Kate, darling, you will be kind with him, won't you?
Oh, Mother, of course I will.
Poor dear. It's very rather a good for you. Hello, there's someone in our garden.
Oh, where?
Over there, do you see? Just way behind that bush. This is Williamson's all thing, I think.
On the rest of it, must be in his own place.
Well, why can't he stick to his own garden? John?
Sounds like it.
Yes, this John. Into the dining room, quickly.
They're going on.
Well, you can do alone, so you can have a talk with John. When you're finished, cough or something.
You mean all something?
I know, knock on the floor 3 times with your stick, and then we'll come in.
Don't you think I might look a trifle tempted?
Mr. Watson.
How are you, John? I'm very glad to see you. Will you forgive me for not getting up? My arthritis has been troubling me rather a lot lately.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. I definitely thought it was better.
It was for a time. Now it's worse again. Well, now, I understand you wish to marry my daughter.
Yes, sir. That is to say, I proposed to her, and she's done me the honor of accepting.
I see. I trust that when you corrected yourself, your second statement wasn't the denial of your first. I mean, you really do wish to marry her.
Of course, sir.
Why, of course. There's plenty of people about who don't wish to marry her.
I said, of course, because I proposed to her.
Well, that too doesn't necessarily follow. However, we don't need to quibble. We'll take sentimental side of the project for granted. As regards the more practical aspect, perhaps you won't mind if I ask you a few rather personal questions.
Naturally not, sir. That's what you...
Right, so. Now your income. Are you able to live on it?
No, sir. I'm a regular rat.
Yes, of course.
But my aunt pays supplemented by an allowance from my club.
So I understand. And so your father's would be, I take it, about £24 a month.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
So that your total income, the supplement's pay and allowances, plus the allowance from your father, would be, I take it, about £420 a year.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, well, he's perfectly satisfactory. I really don't think I need delay my congratulations any longer.
Thank you, sir, very much.
I must say it was very good of you to be so frank and informative.
Not at all.
Your answers to my questions deserve equal frankness to me about Captain Poe's financial affairs. I'm afraid she's not, otherwise, the daughter of a rich man.
I didn't think otherwise, sir.
Good. Well now, would you be so good as to touch that bell? Thank you. Well now, continuing about my own financial affairs. The Westminster Bank paid me a small pension, 350 to be precise, and my wife has 200 a year of her own. Apart from that, we have nothing, except such savings I've been able to make at the bank during my career there. Interest from which will raise my total income to about £800 per annum.
You rang her.
Yes, Violet. My compliments to Mr. Dickey. And you can tell him to stop that cacophonous hullabaloo at once, or I'll throw him and his infernal machine to the street.
Yes, sir. What was that word again?
Never mind. Say anything you like, only stop me.
Well, sir, I'll do my best. But you know what Master Dickey's like, isn't it? Let the old ragtime.
Yes, Violet, I do.
I could say you don't think it's quite nice on Sunday.
You could say I don't think it's quite nice any day. There's nothing makes it a confounded in that all.
Yes, sir.
Now, Violet has no doubt already been explained to you.
I don't think so, sir. Isn't there any explanation necessary?
I fear it is. She came to us direct from an orphanage a very long time ago, with a sort of under-between-maid observation. In that capacity, she was quite satisfactory. But I'm afraid as a parlour-maid, she developed certain marked eccentricities in the performance of her duties. Due no doubt to the fact that she never fully known what they were. Well now, where were we? Ah, yes. I was telling you about my sources of income, was I not?
Yes, sir.
Now, in addition to the ordinary expenses of life, I have to maintain two sons. One at Osborne and the other Walter. Neither of whom, I'm afraid, will be in a position to support themselves for some time to come. One because of his extreme youth, and the other because of other reasons. So you see, I'm not in a position to be very lavish as regards Catherine's dowry.
No, sir, I quite see that.
I propose to step on her 1/6 of my total capital, which worked out to the final fraction of exactly £853 6 But let us deal in round figures and say £850.
Fine, that's very generous, sir.
Not as generous as I would have liked, I'm afraid. However, as my wife would say, beggars can't be choosers.
Exactly.
Well, then, if you're agreeable to an arrangement, I don't think there's any more we need to discuss.
No, sir.
Splendid.
Pretty rotten weather, but isn't it?
Fire, fire. Why doesn't mention that? My wife and daughter are here of all places. Come in, Grace. Come in, Catherine. John's here.
Why, John, how nice. Why, you do look quite as well. Take that. Oh, quite once more.
Well, what?
How did the talk go?
You were supposed to know we were having a little talk.
You were how irritating. Is everything all right, John? I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Thank you for the word.
Now, may I kiss you? After all, I'm practically your mother now.
Yes, of course.
While I, by the same token, am practically your father. You may.
Certainly, sir.
Grace, I think we might allow ourselves a small modern celebration for luncheon. You can find me the key to the cellar.
Yes, of course, yes. Don't suppose you two mind being left alone for a few minutes with me? What have I doing? Oh, my poor darling.
But the one thing was, I had all these easy turns face when I couldn't be anything.
Oh, not bad.
Oh, how proud and honoured I am by your acceptance of me, and how determined I am to make you a loyal and devoted husband, and to maintain you in the father which you're accustomed to, and that sort of thing. All very forgiving men, of course.
Anything about loving you?
Oh, now, that I thought we could have taken for granted, and your father isn't there.
You do look smart.
Good.
How about your father? How did he say?
All right.
I bet he did. Oh, yes.
He wanted me to get married to you. He's a little bit worried about grandchildren.
He approves of me, doesn't he?
Oh, no. Why should he do that?
He's got a way of looking at me through his monocle that always shrivels me up.
He's just being a colonel, darling, that's all. All colonels wouldn't do like that. What about the way your father looks at me? Oh, your family are afraid of him as much as I am.
Oh, then he is, of course. Ronnie is so he doesn't need to be. Father worships him. I'm not sure about Mother being spiritual. Sometimes, perhaps. But I'm not ever.
You're not afraid of anything, are you?
Oh, you think so, too.
Such as?
Well, I know you can tell you.
Can you be a little bit more explicit?
Oh, Ronnie. Oh, hello. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, Ronnie. You're wet through. You better go and change. Sure. You may tell me. You know John Robinson, Ronnie. You met him last holiday. Don't you remember?
Look,
In there, do you know? Now, darling, tell me, what is it? Have you run away? Oh, what is it then? I didn't know it. I didn't, really, I didn't. This letter is addressed to Father. Did you open it? I was going to tear it up. You know, you could tell it when I went into that. I didn't know what to do. But they sent you off alone. They couldn't keep the officer up with me. They were supposed to be better. But they sent you away. Hey, can you tear it up now? No, darling. Will you tell Father to leave it 2 days later? No. Can you didn't do it? Really, I didn't.
oh, hello, Ronnie, old man. How's everything?
You knew he was here.
Oh, yes, there's come some things a little trouble.
Yeah.
All right.
You stay with him and I'll go and find Mother.
That's all right. What's up, old chap?
Nothing.
Come on, tell me.
It's all right.
You didn't die. Bad luck. What for?
I didn't do
Oh,
it.
of course you didn't.
Honestly, I didn't.
Oh, my chap, no need to go on about it. I believe you.
Sorry.
Now, then, what business that's before, yes.
Feeling.
Oh. Oh, is that all? Good Lord, I didn't know they that chaps for that these
Let
days.
me do it.
Why, good heavens, at school we used to pinch everything to go over our hands on. All of it. I remember there was one chap, Carter, his name was, Captain Cricket, believe it or not, absolutely nothing we said with him. Nothing at all. Him just what record my once I read it. Believe me, old chap, he means nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, I say, you're a bit down, aren't you?
Yeah, you're right.
You're shivering too. Oughtn't you to go and change? I mean,
now.
I didn't do it, Mother.
No, but darling, of course you didn't. Let's go along upstairs now till we get to our things beautiful.
Oh, Mother.
No, darling, I promise, not now.
I'd better go and prepare for them. All of the old man looks like going upstairs. I say, who's breaking the news to eventually?
Don't get worried about that
No,
now.
you can count me out. In fact, I don't want to be within 1,000 miles of that person.
John.
Bad news. That's rotten for you, aren't you?
How can people be so cruel?
It's spelled, I suppose.
God, what little imagination some people have. Why should they torture a child in that age? John, what's the point of it?
What's he supposed to have done?
Stolen some money.
Oh.
10 days ago it said in the letter. And that's the letter this morning. Just think what the poor little creature's been going through these last 10 days. Entirely alone, without anyone to look after him, knowing what he had to face at the end of it. And then they send him up to London with a petty officer. Isn't it any wonder he's nearly out of his mind? Heartless? It's cold, calculated inhumanity. God, I'd like to have this commanding officer just in here for 2 minutes.
Quite naturally to be upset about it, darling, but you must remember that he's not really in school.
Then what does Mr. say?
Well, in the service they have ways of doing things which to an outsider might seem horribly brutal, and to sure as scrupulously fair. And you take it from me, there would have been a very full inquiry before it had a step of this sort. And what's more, if there's been a delay of 10 days, there'll be no worse for the boy than a chance to defend himself. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I would have been better to keep my mouth shut.
No, it's all right. It was perfectly true.
I'm sorry, it was pacified.
It's all right.
Forgive me. Forgive. Believe me, I'm awfully sorry. But, how's your father going to take it?
It's not still. Oh, heaven. I'd forgotten we've got Desmond here.
Who?
Desmond Curry, our family solicitor. Oh, darling, do be polite to him, won't you?
Why, am I usually so rude with your guests?
No, but he doesn't know what happened.
Do I?
Yes, and he's been in love with me for years, but he's sort of terribly young.
Oh, I see.
Hello, Desmond. I don't think you said so well as that.
No, but of course I've heard a lot about him. How do you do? Well, I trust I'm not early.
Oh, no, Desmond, you're on time, as always.
Oh, capital. God be with us. I'm awful sorry.
No, it's all right. I was only going to ask how your cricket match went yesterday, Desmond.
Oh, not too well, I'm afraid. My shoulder's still giving me trouble. I'm to congratulate you, sir.
Desmond, you know.
That Violet told me just now. It was the hall. Thank you. Of course, it's quite expected, I know. Quite expected. Still, it was rather a surprise hearing it like that. From Violet in the hall.
Oh, we were going to tell you, Desmond, dear. It was only made us whistle this morning, you know. In fact, you're the first person to hear it.
Oh, am I? Am I indeed? Well, I'm sure you'll both be very happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Only this morning. Thank you.
Oh, hello, Desmond, dear.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Winslow. Oh, nobody ill, I hope.
No, everything's fine. Thank you, Desmond.
Grace, when did we last ever skeleton seen you?
I really can't remember, dear.
Well, in a shocking condition. Oh, hello, Desmond. How are you? You're not looking well.
Oh, am I not? I'm sprained my shoulder, you know.
Well, why do you keep playing these ridiculous games of yours? Resign yourself to the onrush and middle age and abandon them, my dear Desmond.
Oh, I could never do that. Not give up cricket. Well, not altogether. Are you any relation to D.W.H. Curry, who used to play for Middlesex? I am D.W.H. Curry.
But you know we had a great man in the room.
Curry of Curry's match, that's right. Hat-trick against the players in the what year was it? 1895 at Lord's. 26 overs, 9 labels, 37 runs, 8 wickets. You know, you used I used to sing a lot once for schoolboys, I remember.
Only for schoolboys, Dickon.
Oh, I fear so, and girls took no interest in cricket in those days. Gosh, you DWH courage, that's right, you know. Oh, I know. Very few people would nowadays.
Oh, John doesn't mean what he said just now.
Oh, I fear he did. This is the main trouble. Too much office work and too little exercise, I fear.
Nonsense. Too much exercise and cure of office work. Yes, Father, bring some glasses with you. I thought we might try a little Madeira before lunch. We're celebrating, you know, this, and my wife's birthday.
Father, really? It's all right, Father. There's a nose.
Oh, yes, indeed. It's wonderful news, isn't it? I'll be most glad to bring a toast to the,
Happy fair, I think, is the phrase that's saluting you.
Well, as it happens, I was trying to think of something new to say.
Full on with, my dear listener.
Father, really, you mustn't be so rude.
Well, I make naturally that no one with the possible exception of Voltaire could find anything new to say about an engaged couple. My dear Dickon, just in time for a glass of Madeira and celebration of Kate's engagement to John.
Oh, is that all finally sliced up now? Cake definitely being withdrawn and start good egg.
Quite so. I should have ended just now with the possible exception of Voltaire and Dickon Winslow. Thank you, Sir Raoul, you are.
Oh, are we allowed to drink Ellen's health?
I think it's permissible.
Oh, no, it's bad luck.
We defy all we don't take it.
Oh, you mustn't say things like that, John, dear. I know, you can drink each other's health, but that's all right.
Are my wife's superstitious terrors finally allayed? To Catherine and John.
Catherine and John.
Oh, we must leave you out, Violet. You must join us first.
Well, thank you, sir. Not too much, sir, please. Just a bit.
Quite so. Your reluctance would have been more convincing if I hadn't noticed you brought an extra glass.
I did it for myself, sir. I bought it to Master Ronnie.
You bought an extra glass for Master Ronnie, Violet.
Well, sir, I thought you might have just a bit, just to drink toast. He's that grown up these days.
Master Ronnie isn't due back from Osborne until Tuesday, Violet.
Oh, no, sir, he's back already. Came back unexpectedly this morning, all by himself.
No, Violet, it isn't true. Someone has been playing a joke.
Well, I saw him in here, sir, last night, with my own two eyes, just before you come into church. And then I heard Mrs. Window talking to him in the room.
So it's all right, Violet, you can go.
Grace, what does this mean? Did you know when he was back?
Yes, Father.
And you, Jackie?
Yes, Father.
Grace?
We thought it best you shouldn't know, Arthur. Only for the time being. Only for the time being, Arthur.
The boy ill.
Yes.
Well, answer me, someone. Is the boy very ill? Well, why must I be kept in the dark like this? Surely I have the right to know. If he's ill, I must be with him.
No, Father, he's not ill.
Someone tell me what's happened, please.
He brought this letter for you, Arthur.
Read it to me, please.
Yes.
Read it to me, please.
Confidential. Sir, I am commanded by my Lord Commissioners of the Admiralty to inform you that they have received a communication from the commanding officer of the Royal Naval College at Osborne, supporting the theft of a 5-shilling postal order at the college on the 7th instant, which was afterwards cashed at the post office. Investigations of the circumstances of the case leave no other conclusion possible than that the postal order was taken by your son, Cadet Ronald Alfred Winslow. My Lord simply regrets that they must therefore request you to withdraw your son from the college. I'm my son, but I can't leave him alone.
Desmond, be so good as to call Violet.
Violet? Violet?
Violet, ask Master Ronnie to come down and see me.
Oh, he's dead.
You told me he wasn't ill.
It wasn't all well.
Do as I say, Violet.
Very good, sir.
Perhaps the rest of you would go into luncheon. Grace, would you take them in? Dickie, will you decant that bottle of claret I brought up from the cellar?
Yes, Father.
I put it on the sideboard in the dining room.
Yes, Father.
Will you go in, Desmond? And John? Yes, Grace. What mustn't I do?
Please come here, child.
Oh, Mother.
Come over here. Why aren't you in your uniform?
Got wet.
How did it get wet?
I was knocking down in the rain.
Why?
I was hiding.
From me? Do you remember once you promised me that if ever you were in trouble of any sort, you'd come to me first?
Yes, Father.
Why didn't you come to me now? Why did you have to go and hide in the garden?
I didn't know it.
Are you so frightened of me? In this letter it says you stole a postal order. Now, I don't want you to say another word until you've heard what I've got to say. You did it. You must tell me. Shan't be angry, Ronnie, provided you tell me the truth. If you tell me a lie, I shall know that the line between you and me can't be hidden. I shall know, Ronnie, to remember that before you speak. Did you steal this postal order?
No, Father, I didn't.
Did you steal this postal order?
No, Father, I didn't.
Go on back to bed. And in future I trust a son of mine will at least show enough sense in coming out of the room.
Yes, Father.
Hello? I want to put a trunk call through, please. Yes, a trunk call. The Royal Naval College, Osborne. That's right, yes. In case of receiver. Certainly.
Hello. Do you think the old man can hear this upstairs?
Oh, I didn't think so, either.
Don't need an old sweater underneath. Is the doctor still with you? What's the verdict, you know?
I heard him say Father needs a complete rest.
Don't we all?
He said he ought to go away to the country and forget all his worries.
Oh, fat chances of that, I'd say.
I know.
Say, you look a treat. You dress.
Is it likely? No, it's an old one. I've had done up.
Where are you going to?
Daily. To the rest of the car.
Nice. Wouldn't care to take me along with you, I suppose.
You suppose quite right.
Oh, John, wouldn't
I
mind.
did say not. I yours.
Wish I had someone taking me out. In your new feminine world, do you suppose women will be allowed to do some of the paying?
No, certainly.
Really? Then the next time you're looking for someone to chain themselves to Mr. Ashford, you can jolly well call me.
If Rita might take you out if you gave her money, she's very rich.
If I gave Edwina a hint of that before, I wouldn't see her this side of doomsday.
You sound a little bitter, Vicky, dear.
No, they're not bitter, just realistic. Oh, good, Agnes. The star.
You weren't supposed to wait a minute. If there's anything you need to get, Cook and I would like to read this afternoon.
No, it's all right, Violet. Oh, here it is. The Osborne cadet. There's two more letters. Dear sir, I'm entirely in agreement with your correspondence minister concerning the scandalously high-handed treatment by the Admiralty of the case of the Osborne cadet. The efforts of Mr. Arthur Winslow to secure a fair trial for his son had evidently been thwarted at every turn by a soulless oligarchy.
Soulless oligarchy. Oh, that's rather good.
It is high time private and peaceful citizens of this country awoke to the increasing encroachment of their ancient freedoms by the new despotism of Whitehall. The Englishman's home was once said to be his castle. It seems it is rapidly becoming his prison. Your obedient servant, Little Countess Amathorn.
Good for old Amathorn.
And the other one from Chestnut. Dear sir, I cannot understand what all was talking about in the case of the Osborne cadet. Surely we have more important matters to get ourselves worked up about than a 14-year-old boy and a 5-shilling postal order. The old fool.
How do you know so?
This is obvious. With the present troubles in the Balkans, and especially the major European power rapidly outbuilding our navy, the Admiralty might be forgiven if it stated that it had rather more urgent affairs to deal with than Master Ronnie Winslow's little troubles. A further inquiry before the Judge Advocate of the Peace has now fully confirmed the original findings that the boy was guilty. I sincerely trust this will finally end this ridiculous and fraudulent of a stolen teapot. I am, sir, accept the first letter.
This correspondence must now cease, did it, Tom?
Dear, how hopeless it all seems sometimes.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? You know, Kate, don't give me away to the old man, will you? But the awful thing is, it hadn't been my own brother. I think I might quite likely have seen the best point.
Might you?
Well, I mean, looking at it from every angle and all that, it does seem rather much ado about Sam, or, need to say, in that pinching. And it's also beastly expensive. Let's cheer ourselves up with some music.
Is that what that's called?
Come and practice music, sir. Say, not bad at all. Who taught you? John, I suppose.
No, as it happens, I taught John.
Feminism. Even in love. When's the happy date now?
The phone again.
Oh, no. Why?
Oh, the door's off for 6 months.
Why pay any attention to that old gentleman?
I wouldn't have gone down, so I have to.
Say, nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're not going to be left on the old rails or anything, are you?
Oh, no, I'll get him past the old rails even if I have to drag him there.
You think you might have to?
Well, quite frankly, yes.
Competition?
Oh, no, not yet. I mean, differences of opinion.
Oh, I see. Well, take some advice from an old hand, won't you?
Yes, thank you.
Suppress your opinion.
Men don't like them when they're lady friends, even if they agree with them. And if they don't, it's painful. Pretend to be half-witted, like Edwina. Then you're adored.
I know, I do sometimes, but I forget. You needn't worry. There's every clash between what I feel and what I believe. There's not much doubt about which will win.
Oh, that's the girl. Of course, I don't know why you didn't fall in love with Ramsay MacDonald.
remember his exact words. We weren't quite as well as we were when we last saw each other. The advice seems space at the beginning. That's the start. Let me see it, please. And John's calling for you here, I think.
Yes, Father.
It might be better, perhaps, if you just ask him in. This room will soon be a cluster of journalists, solicitors, barristers, and other impedimenta.
Mr. Lord Horton, going to see you.
And how's he going to see him, could I?
I was going to tell you about my hair.
What's the matter with your hair?
Nothing, except I don't like it very much.
I wonder if I could sue first place.
Well, it might be a way of getting the case into court.
On the other hand, he has to be libelous. Maybe they... Do you mind if I, interrupt you for a moment?
No, Father?
I want to ask you a question. But before I do, I want to impress on you the absolute necessity for a truthful answer.
Oh, naturally.
Naturally means by nature. I'm afraid I want you to know that it isn't in your nature to answer my question truthfully.
Well, I will this one, Father. I promise.
Very well. What do you suppose one of your bookmaker friends would lay in the way of odds against you getting a degree?
I think, say, it's about even.
Rather doubt that price your friend would find many takers.
Oh, well, perhaps 7 to 4, again.
I see. And how about the odds against you eventually becoming 7-7?
People, I suppose.
Exactly, quite a mistake.
You don't want to have a bet?
No, Dickie, I'm not a gambler. Unhappily, I'm no longer in the position to gamble £200 a year on what you yourself admitted is an outside chance.
Not an outside chance, Father, a good chance.
Not good enough, Dickie, I'm afraid. The things as they are at the moment. Definitely not good enough. I fear my mind is finally made up.
You want me to leave Oxford, is that it?
I'm afraid so, Dickie.
Straight away?
No, you can finish your second year.
And what then?
I can get you a job in the Mint.
Oh, no.
It's quite a good job, you know. I think my influence in the Mint still counts for something.
Father, if I promised you, I mean, really promised you that from now on I'll work like a flag. Case, I suppose.
It's costing me a lot of money.
Yes, it must be. But still, couldn't you? I mean, isn't there any way? Lord.
I'm afraid this has been a shock for you. I am sorry.
No, it isn't really. I've been rather expecting it, as a matter of fact. Especially since I hear you're hoping to bring Sir Robert Morton. Still, can't say but what it isn't a bit of a slap in the face.
Oh, there's a journalist coming to see me. You won't mind if we talk about it some other time?
No, of course.
Well, I shall leave those there if I were you.
Yes, sir. Good idea.
Tell me, how's your famous Wiener gun these days?
Very well, thanks awfully.
Don't suppose you'd mind if you took a little theatre or gave her a little present, perhaps?
I'm sure she wouldn't.
I'm afraid I can only make it a couple of sovereigns.
Thanks awfully, Father.
But what's that, though? You can always buy something for yourself.
Now, as a matter of fact, I don't suppose the rules an awful lot better, but still, jolly decent of you. I say, Father, I think I could do with a little bottle of something. Would you mind?
Of course not. You'll find a decanter in the dining room.
Thanks awfully.
I must thank you, Dickie, for bearing what must have been a very unpleasant blow for some important chance.
Rot, Father.
The Daily News. So good of you.
How do you do?
You're surprised to see a lady reporter. I know, everyone is. And yet what could be more natural?
What indeed? Great, sit down.
My paper usually sends me out on stories with a special appeal to women. Stories of little hearts, you know, like this one. A father fighting with his little son's honor.
The nature of things this case is rather wide implications, isn't it?
The political angle, very interesting, but not quite my line. get a nice picture of you and your little boy's death. I have my assistant camera there in the hall. Where is your little boy?
He's arriving home in a few minutes. His mother's gone to the station to meet him.
From school? How interesting. So you want to see him take him? I mean, you didn't find the unpleasantness?
No.
And why is he coming back this time?
He hasn't been expelled again, if that's what you're implying. He's coming to London to be examined by Sir Robert Morton, whom we're hoping to reach.
Robert Morton? Well,
Exactly.
but do you really think he'll take a little case like this one?
This is not a little case, madam.
No, of course not. But Sir Robert Morton...
I understand he's the best advocate in the country. Certainly the most expensive.
Oh, yes. I'm sure if one is prepared to pay his fee, he'll take almost any case.
Once more, madam, this is not almost any case.
No, of course not. Well, perhaps you can leave some of the details. Now, when did all this start?
9 months ago. The first I heard of the charge was when my son arrived home with a letter from the Admiralty informing me of his expulsion. I telephoned Osmond for this, and referred by then to the Lords of the Admiralty. My solicitors then took the matter up and demanded from the Admiralty the fullest possible inquiry. For weeks we were ignored. We met for back refusal. We only finally got reluctant permission to view the evidence.
Really?
My solicitor decided that the evidence was highly unsatisfactory and fully justified the reopening of proceedings. We applied to the Admiralty for court-martial. They ignored it. We applied for a civil trial. Ignored it again.
They ignored you?
Yes. Without tremendous pressure has been brought to bear. Letters to the papers, questions in the House, and other means open to the private citizens of the country. The Admiralty eventually agreed to what they called an independent inquiry.
Good.
It was not good, madam. As this independent inquiry, conducted by the Judge Advocate of the Peace, against whom I am saying nothing much, my son, a child of 14, who was not represented by counsel, solicitor, or friend. What do you say to that?
Nancy?
You may well say Nancy.
And what happened at the inquiry?
Inevitably he was found guilty again, and thus branded for the second time before the world as a thief and a forger.
What a shame.
I need hardly tell you, madam, that I'm not letting the matter rest there. I intend to fight this monstrous injustice with every weapon, every means at my disposal. Now it happens I have a plan.
What charming curtains. What are they made of?
Madam, I fear I have no idea.
I don't know, Mr. Waterman. Ah, will I hear the little cat himself? Hello, Barbara.
Oh, hello, Bobby.
I say, Barbara, Mr. Waterman tell you what he spent on Monday, if you like. He reckons in 3 whole days.
My money. Howdy, my boy.
Honestly, top roll, Barbara. Nothing should have grown an inch. Now that's exactly the pose I like. Would you hold it, Mr. Winslow? Fred, come in now, please. Oh, shit.
Afternoon.
Now that's the pose I suggest.
Grace, dear, this is a lady from the Daily News. She's extremely interested in your curtains.
Yes. I was wondering what the room is. Oh, well, it's an entirely new material, you know. I'm not sure what it's called, but I got them at Barker's last year. Colour. I believe I was going to be here last night. Gentlemen.
Affairs, sir.
Of course. I get the Daily News in school line. Everyone's downstairs.
Right, blue, please. All right, Miss Van.
Thank you, Fred. Goodbye, Mr. Winslow, and I wish you the very best of good fortune in your inspiring fight. Goodbye, little fellow, and remember the darkest hour is just before the dawn. It was very good of you to give me all those details, Mrs. Winslow. Your answers have been most interesting. What are you talking about?
The case, I imagine.
Oh, okay. Father, you know the train with 14 carriages?
Did it indeed?
Yes, all corridors.
Remarkable.
Mine too. It was one of the very biggest expressors. I walked all the way down it
had your half-term report running.
Oh, yes.
On the whole, it was pretty fair.
Oh, good.
I'm glad you seem to be settling down so well. Very glad indeed.
What a charming woman, Arthur.
Charming. I trust you gave her the full details about our curtain.
Yes, I told her everything.
So bad.
I do think woman reporters are a good idea. Arthur, will it be all right for me to stay for one night? I want you to see me with you. On your ability.
Mine with me.
Oh, no. This bed?
Yes, yes. Grace, would you take Ronnie upstairs and get him washed? Rob will be here in a few minutes.
All right. I say, do you know how long the train goes? 123 miles in 2 hours and 52 minutes. Violence, my bed. Would you like to say anything, dear?
Great deal. Very little for the purpose.
Violet says he gets some ointment for your back. 4 massages a day. Is that right?
Something of the kind?
I think you should have one now, don't you, Arthur?
No.
But you've plenty of time before Sir Arthur comes. And if you don't have one now, you won't have time to have another before you go to bed.
Precisely.
Really, Arthur, I do think that's rather silly to spend all that money on doctors if you're not even going to do what they say.
All right, Kate. All right, all right.
You see, Ronnie's back judging by the noise. Oh, I say, that dress has turned out rather well. John never know it isn't brand new. He's late,
Grace, will you go upstairs and attend to Ronnie and prepare the witch's brew for me? I'll come up when you're ready.
Yes, that does look good. Oh, Madam Default, a treasure.
Kate, we must marry you.
What's the matter, Father?
Suddenly I feel suicidally inclined. Spiteful little boys are, especially for small women. Further instead of Mrs. Window's curtain. Any hope for the world?
Oh, I think so, Father.
Have we got the whole thing, Kate?
I don't consider that a serious question, Father.
You realize as we go on, the marriage settlement must go.
Oh, yes, I gave that up the last week ago.
It's all right between you and John, aren't they?
Oh, yes, of course, Father. Everything's perfect.
I mean, what makes the difference between you?
How could heaven know?
Very well, then, let us pin our faces around the Lord. I see, I can speak for myself in saying that.
You know what I think of Sir Robert Morton, Father, but don't just go into that now. It's too late.
Oh, too late. He hasn't accepted the brief.
No, I'm afraid I hope he never does. It's not marriage settlement either.
I made some inquiries about that fellow you suggested. I'm told he's not nearly as good a man as Morton.
He's not nearly so fashionable.
The best.
The best in this case don't be as important.
Why does everyone say he is?
Because if one happens to be a large monopoly affecting a trade union or a Tory paper libeling a labor leader, then he is the best. And it utterly defeats me how you or anyone else can expect a man of his record to have even a hint of a part in a case with a boot is entirely on the other foot.
Well, I believe that if he's only got half his heart and that he won't accept the brief.
Oh, he might still. It depends on what's in it for him, and luckily there isn't.
Pretty substantial.
Want money? Not you any rich man.
What does he want?
Anything that advances his interest.
I believe you're prejudiced because he spoke against woman's suffrage.
I am. I'm prejudiced because he's always speaking against what is right and just. Did you read the speech in on the case dispute still in the House? Arthur! Arthur!
Well, in the words of the Prime Minister, let us wait and see. You're my only ally, Kate. Without you, I believe I would have given up long ago. No, it's true. Still, you must sometimes allow me to make my own decisions. I have an instinct about them. You will see which is right. My instinct or your reason, eh?
I'm afraid you will.
Hello, Kate.
Oh, hello, Kitty. Oh, what's the matter? Has Rita jilted you or something?
Haven't you heard? been scratched from the Oxford stakes at the end of the year.
Oh, Digby, I'm awfully sorry.
Did you know it was in the wind?
No, I knew there was hungry.
You might have warned us, sir. How plumb the old man's trap. My gosh, I can just about murder that little brother of mine. What's he have to go about pinching postal orders for? And why the hell does he have to get himself nabbed doing it? Silly little blind cunt.
It's all right, Martin, I'll go. It's only Mr. Watson, and I'll answer it. I'm sorry, I was expecting a present. Where did you go, Mr. Robert? I'm sorry, where did you go? Won't you sit here? You'd find it far more comfortable.
No, thank you. Sir Robert has a most important dinner engagement, so he came a little early.
I see.
I'm afraid he'll only be able to spare us a very few minutes of his most valuable time this evening. Of course, it's a long way for him to come, so far from his chambers, and very good of him to do it too, if I may say so.
I know. I can assure you we're very conscious of it.
Perhaps I had better advise your father of our presence.
Oh, yes, do, Desmond. You'll find him in the bedroom having a playground.
Oh.
Can I get you anything, Mr. Robert? Is a tea and soda or brandy, perhaps?
No, thank you.
We don't know.
No, thank you.
Won't you take your coat off, Mr. Robert?
No, thank you.
It's kind of cold in here. I'm sorry.
It's perfectly all right.
What time are you dining?
8 o'clock.
Far from here?
Devonshire House.
Oh. Then you mustn't have thought on any account today.
No.
I suppose you know the history of this case, Sir Robert.
I believe I have read most of the relevant documents.
And do you think we can bring the case into court by a police action?
I really have no idea.
How do you hurry? Do you think if I told?
What do they? Yes, but they are a very reliable firm.
I'm not surprised that a case of this sort would interest you, Sir Robert.
Oh,
It must seem so very trivial compared with your great forensic triumph.
yes?
I was in court during your cross-examination of Len Rogers in the trade union embezzlement case.
Yes.
It was marked to me.
Thank you.
I suppose you heard he committed suicide a few months ago?
Yes, I have heard.
Many people believe him innocent, you know.
So I understand. As it happens, however, he was guilty.
Sir Robert, my husband's sorry to have kept you, but he's just coming.
How do you do?
Sir Robert is dining a bit in their house tomorrow.
Oh, really? Oh, well, then you must be punctual. Of course, I understand that. It's the politeness of princes, isn't it?
Yes, so they say.
In this case, of course, the other way around. Oh, here comes my husband now. I do hope everything is playing you all right.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Sir Robert,
How do you do?
I'm Arthur Winslow. I understand you're rather pressed for time.
Oh, yes, he's dining at Devonshire House.
Oh, are you indeed? I'll suddenly be down in a minute. I expect you wish to examine him.
Well, just a few questions. I fear there is all I have time for this evening.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He has made a journey especially from school for this interview. Now, it's hoping that by the end of it I would know definitely yes or no if he would accept the brief.
Well, perhaps the Robert would consent to finish his examination some other time. Yes, it might be arranged.
Tomorrow?
No, tomorrow is impossible. I shall be in court all morning and in the House of Commons for the rest of the afternoon. If a further examination should prove necessary, it will have to be sometime next week.
I see. Will you forgive me for sitting down? I understand from Curry that you think it might be possible to receive by the issue of right.
Well, what is the issue of right?
Oh, well, granted the assumption that the Admiralty, as the Crown, can do no wrong.
I thought that was exactly the assumption we refused to run.
Oh, in law, I mean. Now, a subject can sue the Crown, nevertheless, by petition of right, redress being granted as a matter of grace. And the usual custom is for the Attorney General, on behalf of the King, to endorse the petition and allow the case to come to the court.
It's interesting to note that the exact words he uses on such occasions are, let right be done.
Let right be done. I like that phrase, sir.
Yes, it has a certain ring about it, has it not? Let right be done.
Oh, this is my son, Ronald. Why, this is Sir Robert Morton.
How do you do it?
He's going to ask you a few questions. Now, you must answer them more truthfully as you always have. I expect you would like to leave.
No. Provided, of course, that you don't interrupt. Listen close, will you sit down, please? Not in. Well. How old are you?
14 and 7 months.
You were then 13 and 10 months old when the next article. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want you to cast your mind back to July 7th of last year and tell me in your own words exactly what happened to you on that day.
All right. Well, it was a half holiday. So we didn't have any work after dinner.
Dinner?
Yes. At 1 o'clock. And it was a bit 7 when we were
Breakfast 7?
Yes. Just before dinner, I went to to the officer and asked him that he had 15 and 6 and what I had in the college bag.
And now why did you do that?
I wanted to buy it.
Which cost 15 and 6?
Yes.
Now, how much money did you have in the college bank at the time?
£2 for a shilling.
So you see, sir, what incentive could there possibly be for him to steal 5 shillings?
I must ask you to be good enough not to interrupt me, sir. Now, after you had withdrawn the 15 and 6, what did you do?
I had dinner.
Then what?
I went to the locker room and he put 15 and 6 away in my locker.
And then?
I went for permission to go down to the post office. Then I went back to the locker room, went out my money, and went down to the post office.
See? Go on.
I bought a postal order.
For 15 and 6?
Yes. Then I went back to the college. There I met Elliot Minor and he said, I say, isn't it wrong? Someone's broken into my locker. It's just the postal order. I reported it to the PO.
Now those were Elliot Minor's exact words?
He might have used another word for wrong.
Oh, I see. Yes. Continue.
Well, then, just before Christmas, I was supposed to go along with the commander's job. The woman from the post office was there, and the commander said, is this the boy? And she said it might be. I can't be sure. They all look so much alike.
You see, she couldn't even identify him.
Go on.
Then she said, I only know that the boy who bought the postal order for 15 and 6 was the same boy that took one for 5 shillings. The commander said, did you buy a postal order for 15 and 6? And I said, yes. And then they made me write Elliot Minor's name on an envelope and compared it to the signature on the postal order. And then they sent it to the sanatorium. And 2 days later I was there. I mean, still.
I see. Did you cash a postal order for 5 shillings belonging to Elliot Minor?
No, sir.
Did you break into his locker and steal it?
No, sir.
And that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
When the commander asked you to write Elliot's name on the envelope, how did you write it? With Christian name or initial?
I wrote Charles K. Elliot.
Charles K. Elliot. And did you by any chance happen to see did you happen to see the forged postal order in the commander's office?
Oh, yes. The commander showed it to me.
Before or after you had written Elliot's name on the envelope?
After.
After. And did you happen to see Elliot's name was written on the postal order?
Yes, sir. The same.
The same? Charles K. Elliot?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you wrote on the envelope, what made you choose that particular form?
That was the way he usually signs that.
How did you know?
anyone.
That is no answer. How did you know?
I've seen him sign them.
What thing?
Oh, ordinary things.
I repeat. What thing?
Bits of paper.
And why did he sign his name on bits of paper?
And the practice and signature.
And you saw him?
Yes.
Did he know you saw him?
Well, yes.
In other words, he showed you exactly how he wrote his signature.
Yes, I suppose he did.
And did you happen to practice writing it yourself?
I might have done.
What do you mean you might have done? Did you or did you not?
Yes.
Ronnie, you never told me this.
It was only for a joke.
Well, never mind whether it was for a joke or not. The fact is, you practiced forging Elliot's
It
signature.
wasn't forging.
Well, what do you call it then?
Writing.
Very well then. Writing. Who stole the postal order and cashed it also wrote Elliot's signature?
Yes.
And oddly enough, in the exact form you had earlier been practicing writing his signature.
I say, which got you on?
Don't be impertinent! I am aware that the envelope is sent up the forged postal order to Mr. Ridgeway, the greatest handwriting expert in England. And you know that Mr. Ridgeway affirmed that there was no doubt that the signature on the postal order and the signature you wrote upon the envelope were by one of the same hand.
Yes.
And yet you still say you didn't forge that signature?
Yes, I do.
In other words, Mr. Ridgeway doesn't know his job.
Well, he's wrong anyway.
When you went to the locker room after lunch, were you alone?
Yes.
You knew it was Elliot's locker?
Yes, of course.
Why did you go in there at all?
I told you. I wanted to stay a sister away.
Why?
I thought it would be safer.
And why stay so in your pocket?
I don't know.
It was rather an odd thing to do, wasn't it? The money was perfectly safe in your pocket. Why did you suddenly feel yourself impelled to put it away in your locker?
I tell you, I don't know.
Was it because you knew you'd be alone in the locker room at the time?
No.
What time did Elliot put his postal order in his locker?
I don't know. I didn't know he had a postal order in his locker. I didn't know he had a postal order at all.
If you say he was a great friend of
He
yours.
didn't tell me he had one.
Oh, how very secretive of him. And what time did you go to the locker room?
I don't remember.
Or was it directly after dinner?
Yes, I think so.
And what did you do after leaving the locker room?
I told you. I went with permission to go down to the post office.
And what time was that?
About 2:15.
Dinner is over at 1:45, which means you were in the locker room for half an hour.
I wasn't there all the time.
Well, how long were you there?
About 5 minutes.
And what were you doing for the other 25?
I don't remember.
It's odd that your memory is so good about some things and so bad about others.
Perhaps I waited outside the CEO's office.
Oh, perhaps you waited outside the CEO's office, and perhaps no one saw you there either.
No. I don't think they did.
No. Perhaps you were still in the locker room, rifling Elliot's locker.
I remember now. I remember. Someone did see me outside the CEO's office. A chap called Casey. I remember, I spoke to him.
What did you say?
I said, come down to the post office with me. I'm going to Casey's place.
That's the post order! You said cash. Now, why did you say cash if you meant cash?
I don't know.
I suggest cash was the truth.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't really. You're muddling me.
Oh, you seem easily muddled. How many other lies have you told?
None. Really, I haven't.
But I suggest that your whole testimony is a lie.
No. It's the truth.
I suggest that there is barely one single word of truth in anything that you said, either to me, or to the judge advocate, or to the commander. I suggest that you broke into Elliot's locker, that you stole the postal order for 5 shillings belonging to Elliot, and that you cashed it by means of forging his name.
I didn't.
I suggest that you did it for a joke, meaning to give Elliot the 5 shillings back. But then when you met him, and he said he reported the matter, you became frightened and decided to keep quiet.
No, it isn't true.
I suggest that by continuing to deny your guilt, you are causing great harm to your own family and considerable annoyance to high and important persons in this country.
That's a disgraceful thing to say.
I agree. I suggest that the time has come at last for you to undo some of the misery you caused by confessing to us all now that you are a forger, a liar, and a thief.
I'm not.
you a lift anywhere? My car is at the door.
No, thank you.
I'll have all this stuff sent round to my friend tomorrow morning, will you?
But do you need it now?
Oh, yes. The boy is plainly innocent. I accept the brief.
The Admiralty, during the whole of this long drawn-out dispute, have at no time acted hastily or advisedly. As a matter of mere histrionic hyperbole for the right honourable learned gentleman opposite, to characterize the conduct of my department as of that callousness so inhuman as to amount to deliberate malice towards the boy Winslow. For such unfounded accusations I can well choose to ignore. Honourable member, you can't. Honourable members of may interrupt as much as they please, but I repeat, there is nothing whatever that the Admiralty has done or failed to do in the case of this cadet for which I, as First Lord, need to apologize. Further opposition and interruptions. I must say, it looks as if the First Lord is having rather a rough passage. I trust my reading isn't keeping you awake. I say, I trust my reading isn't keeping you awake. Grace.
Of course, sleepy little name. It's not about the bed, Mother.
Gracie, at this very moment, your poor sleepy little lamb is the subject of a very violent heated debate in the House of Commons. I should have thought, under the circumstances, you might at least contrive to stay awake a few minutes past his bedtime.
Well, I think he's overexcited.
Picture of overexcitement. Ronnie. Ronnie!
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm reading an account of the day. Would you like to listen? Or would you rather go to bed?
Oh, I'd like to listen, of course, sir. I was listening too. Only I had my eyes shut.
Very well. The First Lord continued a bit further interruption. The chief point of criticism against the Admiralty appears to centre in the purely legal question of the petition of right brought by Mr. Arthur Winslow. Mr. Robert Morton has made great play with a delicate reference to the liberty of the individual menaced, as he puts it, by the new despotism of bureaucracy. And I was as moved as any honourable member opposite by his resonant use of the words, "that's right and done." Nevertheless, the matter is not nearly as simple as he dares to imagine. Cadet Ronald Winslow was a servant of the Crown, and has therefore no more right than any other member of His Majesty's forces to sue the Crown in open court. To allow him to do so would undoubtedly raise the most dangerous precedent. There is no doubt whatever in my mind. In certain cases, private rights may have to be sacrificed for the public good. And what other excuse, pray, did Charles I have for ship money? Ronnie! Ronnie! Would you believe it?
I'd better take him up to his own little bed.
No? He wants to sleep, let him sleep there.
There would be much more comfy in his own bed.
Oh, I dare say. But the debate continues until it is ended. The cause will almost certainly not make himself comfy in his little bed.
Oh, sir, there are three more reporters in the hall. What the thing is very urgent. Shall I let them in?
No, certainly not. I issued a statement yesterday. Until the debate is over, I have nothing more to say.
Yes, sir, that's what I told them. They wouldn't go.
Well, make them. Use force if necessary.
Yes, sir. And shall I cut some sandwiches from this cake as soon as we do?
Yes, Father, good idea.
Now, God, no more questions.
Grace, dear,
Yes?
I fancy this might be a good opportunity of talking to Violet.
No, dear.
Meaning that it is not a good opportunity? Or meaning that you have no intention at all of ever talking to Violet?
I'll talk to her one day, dear. Tomorrow, perhaps. Not now.
I believe you'd be better to grasp the nettle. Delay any adds to your worries.
My wife? And what do you know about my wife?
A good deal, Grace. But I believe there'd be a lot more lessons if you face the situation squarely.
Oh, well, it's easy for you to talk, Arthur. You don't have to do it.
I will, right?
No, dear.
If you explain the letter to her carefully, you show her the figures I jotted down for you yesterday. I venture to think you won't find them unreasonable.
It won't be easy for her to find another place.
We'll give her an excellent difference.
And that doesn't alter the fact that she's never been properly trained as a parlour maid. You know yourself how we always have to explain her to people. No, Arthur, I don't mind how many figures she shows. It's still a brutal thing to do.
That's our brutal things.
I don't think I know what facts are anymore.
Facts at this moment are that we have half of the income we had a year ago, and are living at nearly the same rate. However you look at it, that's bad economics.
I'm not talking about economics, Arthur. I'm talking about ordinary common or garden facts. Things that we took for granted a year ago which don't seem to matter anymore.
Such as?
Such as a happy home and peace and quiet, and an ordinary, respectable life, and some sort of future for us and our children. In the last 12 months, you've turned that all overboard, Arthur. Well, there's your return for it, and it's all very exciting and important, I suppose, but it doesn't bring back the things that we've lost. I can only pray to God you know what you're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing, Grace. I shall publish my son's innocence before the world. Because that's better, I must give away the cost.
But the cost may be out of all proportion.
Maybe. It doesn't concern me. I hate you, Grace, that you forced me to say this. An injustice has been done. I intend to put it right. There's no sacrifice in the world I'm not prepared to make in order to do so.
Oh, I wish I could see the sense in all this. He's perfectly happy at a good school, doing well. No one need ever have known about Osborne if you hadn't gone and shouted it to the whole world. And because whatever happens now, still goes through life as the boy in the Winslow Boy. The boy who stole that postal order.
The boy who didn't steal that postal
Oh,
order.
what difference does it make? Millions are talking and gossiping about it. You know it didn't hardly matter. The Winslow Boy is bad enough. Sacrificing everything for him. But he won't thank you for it when he's grown up, Arthur. Even though you've given your life to publishing his innocence, as you call it. Mr. Arthur, your life. You talk gaily about arthritis and a touch of gout and old age and the rest of it. You know as well as any of the doctors what's really the matter with you. You're destroying yourself, Arthur. And me and the family beside. And for what? That's what I'd like to know. You have to tell me 100 times, but you never can. For what, Arthur?
For justice, Grace.
Oh, that sounds very noble. Are you sure it's true? Are you sure it isn't just plain pride and self-importance and sheer-proof stubbornness?
No, Grace. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is.
No, I'm not going to cry and say I'm sorry and make it all up again. I'll say anything as long as there's a reason for it. For no reason at all, it's unfair to ask you. It's unfair.
What's the matter, Father?
Oh, your mother was a little upset.
Why? Aren't things going well?
Oh, yes. Very well. Very well indeed. Better go off to bed now, Ronnie. You'll be more comfortable. Thank you, Violet. Well, Violet,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been with us?
24 years next April, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir. When I first came, this cake was that high, and Master Dickie had it in store.
I remember you're coming to us now. I remember it well. What do you think of this case, Violet?
Oh, a fine old lump of that is, sir.
Isn't it a fine old mustard?
There was a little name in it, sir. Did you read it?
No. What does it say?
Oh, about how they were fussed about nothing and a shocking waste of the government's time. But how it was a good thing all the same because it could only happen in England.
There seems to be a certain lack of logic in that argument.
Well, perhaps they could if it's different. But then Well, wonders will never cease.
I know. Wonders will never cease.
Well, was that the old thing?
Yes, Father.
Good evening, Violet. Hello, Father. An honourable member describes that this evening as a piteous little figure crying aloud for humanity, for justice and redress.
I wish you could see him now.
Long past the bedtime. What's happened? Is the debate over?
Oh, it's good as. The First Lord gave an assurance that there'd be no further inquiry of Osborne and Dartmouth without informing the parents first. That seems to satisfy those members.
What about the case? The First Lord going to give us a fair trial?
Apparently not.
But that's iniquitous. Must only be forced.
Oh, I thought so too. The House evidently thought otherwise.
Will there be a division?
There may be. If there is, the government will win.
And what is the motion?
To reduce the First Lord's salary by £100. Naturally, no one wants to do that. At least for me.
Yes. And we're back where we started then.
It looks like it.
The case that is no good at all.
Oh, if air became a little, perhaps. A few more thousand people will save themselves tomorrow, Inspector. That boy ought to be allowed a fair trial.
What's the matter that they can't make themselves heard?
I think they can, given time.
Given time. Sir Robert made any protest when the First Lord refused to try.
Oh, not a verbal protest. Something far more spectacular and dramatic. He had his feet on the Treasury table and his hat pulled over his eyes during most of the First Lord's speech. Then he suddenly got up, very deliberately, glared at the First Lord, threw a whole bundle of notes on the floor and stalked out of the house, which made a magnificent effect. In fact, I hadn't known, I could have sworn he was genuinely indignant.
Of course he was genuinely indignant. So would any man of feeling be.
Sir Robert, Father dear, is not a man of feeling. I don't think any emotion at all in his heart.
Except perhaps the single-minded love of justice.
Oh, nonsense. The single-minded love of Sir Robert Morgan.
Really ungrateful to him, considering all he's done for us in the last month.
Oh, I'm not ungrateful, Father. He's been wonderful. I have just freedom. No one would have fought a harder fight.
Well then.
Just his motives, I question. At least I don't question them at all. I know them.
What are they?
Don't come. Look at me, staunch defender of the little man. A nice, popular, six-feet officer. Both very useful to an ambitious man. Luckily for him, we provided them.
Luckily for us too, Kate.
Oh, I do some. But don't fool yourself about him for all that. The man is a fish. A hard, cold-blooded, stupid, idiot, sneering fish. Sir Robert Morgan.
Good evening. Good evening. Something go down the wrong way?
Yes.
May I assist? Good evening, sir. I thought I would call and give you an account of today's proceedings. But I see that your daughter has performed me.
Did you know I was in the gallery?
In such a charming hat. How could I have missed you?
Very good of you to call, sir, nevertheless.
Ah, the cause of the trouble. Asleep. No, please, I beg of you. Do not disturb his innocent slumber.
Innocent slumber?
Exactly. Besides, I fear since our first encounter, he is, rather pardonably, a trifle nervous of me.
Will you betray a technical secret, Sir Robert? What happened during that first cross-examination to make him so sure of his innocence?
Three things. First, he made far too many damaging admissions. A guilty person would have been much more careful, much more on his guard. Secondly, I laid him a trap. And thirdly, I left him a loophole. Now, anyone who was guilty would have fallen into the one and darted through the other. He did either.
The trap was to ask him suddenly what time Elliot put the postal order in his locker, wasn't it?
Yes.
And the loophole?
But I then suggested that he'd stolen the postal order for a joke, which, had he been guilty, he would surely have admitted to as being the lesser of two evils.
It was very clearly thought out.
May we offer you some refreshments, Robert? Whiskey and soda?
No, nothing at all, thank you.
My daughter has told me about your demonstration during the First Lord's speech. She described it as magnificent.
Yes. you know. I've used it many times in the court. It's nearly surprisingly always surprisingly effective. What's the first law to talk about, Bart? Did you know?
Oh, how could he have failed to have been? I wish you could have seen it, Father. It was... Where did that come from?
A few minutes ago. You never writing?
Yes.
This is it.
I shouldn't bother to read it if I were you.
Will you forgive me?
Of course.
Well, what do you think the next step should be?
Well, I've already been considering that fact, Mr. Winslow. And I believe the best plan would be to renew our efforts and try and get the Director of Public Prosecution to act.
But do you think there's any chance of our doing that?
Oh, yes. In the main, it'll be chiefly a question of making ourselves a confounded nuisance.
Oh, we've certainly managed that quite successfully so far, thanks to you.
That is perhaps the only quality I was born with. The ability to make myself a confounded nuisance.
Father, Sir Robert thinks we might get the Director of Public Prosecution to act.
What?
We were discussing how to proceed with the case.
Case? Yes, let's think of that, mustn't we? How to proceed with the case? I'm afraid all things considered that not much purpose will be gained by going on.
Of course we must go on.
Not for you to choose, sir. My choice.
We must be considerate. To give up now would be insane.
Say! My Kennedy has already been called to question tonight. My carrying the case as far as I had.
Whatever the contents of that letter, or whatever has happened to make you lose heart, I insist that we continue the fight.
Insist? We? My fight. My fight alone. For me alone to judge when the time has come to give up.
Give up? Give up? But why in heaven's name? Give up? Why, man?
I've made many sacrifices for this case. Some of them I had no right to make, but I made them nonetheless. I'm privileged. I'm sorry, Sir Robert. More sorry than you are, perhaps. Windsor case is now closed.
Oh, both of them.
My father doesn't mean what he says, Sir Robert.
I'm very glad to hear.
But perhaps I should explain this later.
No, Kate.
Sir Robert knows so much about our family affairs, Father. I don't think it would matter that he learns a little more. This letter is from a certain Colonel Winslow, who is the father of the man I'm engaged to. We've always known that he was opposed to him, so really it comes as no surprise. In it, he says our efforts to discredit the Admiralty in the House of Commons today resulted merely in our making the name of Winslow a nationwide laughing stock. I think that's the phrase. Yes, that's right. A nationwide laughing stock.
I don't care for his English.
He goes on to say that my father will give him a firm undertaking to drop the whining and reckless agitation, I suppose is the case. He will exert every bit of influence he has over his son to prevent his marrying me.
An ultimatum?
Yes, but a pointless one.
He has no influence over his son.
No, yes, a little naturally. But his son is our age and his own master.
Is he dependent upon his father for money?
He gets an allowance, but we can both live perfectly well without it.
Well, sir?
I'm afraid I can't go back on what I've already said. I'll give you a decision in a few days.
Your daughter seems prepared to take the risk.
I'm not. But at least I know how great a risk it is.
How do you estimate the risk, Miss Winslow?
Negligible.
I think I must apologize to you, sir, for speaking to you as I did just now. It was unforgivable.
Not at all. You're upset giving up the case. The big crank I liked you for.
It's been a particularly sort of tiring day. The House of Commons is a peculiarly exhausting place, you know. Too little ventilation and far too much hot air. I really am most truly sorry. course, you must decide about the case if you wish. And that really is the most charming happening thing,
I'm very glad you like it.
It seems decidedly wrong to me. A little lady of your political persuasion should be allowed to adorn herself with such a feminine look. It really looks so awfully like trying to have the best of both worlds.
I'm not a militant, you know, Sir Robert. I do not go about with a hammer, breaking shop windows, or pouring acid down pillar boxes.
I'm really glad to hear it. Both those activities would be highly unsuitable in my pet. No, I never really fully grasped what active steps you do take to propagate your cause, Miss Winslow.
I'm the organising secretary of the West London branch of the Women's Suffrage Association.
Indeed. And is the work hard?
Very.
But not, I should imagine, particularly lucrative.
The work is voluntary and unpaid.
Dear me. What sacrifices you young ladies seem prepared to make for your convictions.
Mr. Watson is in the hall. Oh, this is about to have a word with you in private.
Oh, no, I'm...
No. See him here. You wouldn't mind coming to the drawing room for a moment, Mr. Willis, right?
Nothing.
Oh, I got it.
Who's coming, sir? Hello, John.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Oh, good evening.
I don't think you've met Sir Robert Lawson.
No, I haven't.
How do you know? I think you promised me a whiskey and soda. Oh. Now, I offer you my very belated congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Here's sweet.
Yes.
You sure it's not sham?
Yes.
My father sent your father a letter.
I know, I've read it.
Oh.
Did you?
Yes, he showed it to me. Well, what's his answer?
My father? I don't suppose you'll send one.
You think he'll ignore it?
Well, isn't that the best answer to blackmail?
Damn high-handed old man, I admit.
High-handed?
I'm trying to get him not to spend it.
I'm glad.
Trouble is, he's perfectly serious.
I never thought he wasn't.
If your father decides to go ahead with it, I'm very much afraid he'll do exactly as he threatened.
Professor Match?
Yes.
Oh, but isn't that rather an empty threat, John?
Well, there is always to allow. I tell you, Kate, I'm going to deal with Dan carefully, otherwise we're going to be in the soup.
Oh, without your allowance, what would be in the soup?
And without your settlement, my dear old girl, of course you will. That's all. I can hardly live on my pay as this, but with two.
I really said that two can live as cheaply as one.
Don't you believe it? Two can live as cheaply as two, and that's all there is to it.
I see, I didn't know.
Unlike you, I would have had for mine. I thought, there's no use rushing off blindly without thinking of these things first. The problem has to be faced.
I can assure you, John, I'm ready to face it. Or what do you suggest?
Well, you have to think carefully before you take the next step.
Oh, we will, John, we will. The question is, what is the next step?
Well, this is the way I see it. I'm going to be honest now. I hope you don't mind.
No, I should want to.
The young brother over there, Pinches, or cousin Pinches, by all first order. We're over here now. You and your father fight a magnificent fight on his behalf. I'm sure everybody admires you for it.
Your father has too.
He's a die-hard, just like one of those old admirals you've been up against. Oh, I mean normal, reasonable people like yourself. But now, look, you've had two inquiries. The petition of right case, which the admiralty threw out of court, and you too. And now, for heaven's sake, you've had the whole damn House of Commons whipped up into a frenzy about it. Surely, darling, that's enough for you. And God, sweet the case can end there.
Oh, yes, I suppose the case can end there.
Well, he won't mind.
Oh, but no, he won't.
Look, perfectly happy and content. Not a care in the world. Well, you know what's going on in his mind. Are you sure he didn't do it?
I'm not so sure he didn't.
Good Lord. Then why in heaven's name have you and your father spent so much time and money trying to clear them?
Oh, it's innocent or guilt as important to me, John. I answer my father, but not to me.
I believe he didn't do it, but I may be wrong.
To prove that he didn't do it is hardly of more interest to me than the identity of the college servant or whoever it was who did it. All I care about is that people should know that a government department ignored a fundamental human right and should be made to acknowledge it. That's all that's important to me, John, but it's terribly important.
down to a 14-year-old boy and a 5-ball postal order, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
There's a European war blowing up. There's a coal strike on. There's a good chance of revolution in Ireland, and 101 other things on the horizon which I think you'd have to say are important. And yet, the House of Commons takes the whole day to discuss him and his belly postal order. Surely, darling, you see that's rather out of proportion.
Well, all I know is, Jonathan, the time comes that the House of Commons has got so much on its mind that it can't find the time to discuss a Ronnie Winslow and his belly postal order. Then this country will be a poorer place than it is now. Oh, but you needn't go on, Johnny. You've said quite enough. I entirely see your point of view.
I suppose you realise that all this publicity is turning the name of Winslow into a bit of a...
Make your white laughing stock your father, say.
Well, that is putting a little bit steep. But a lot of people do find the case rather ridiculous, you know. I mean, I have chaps coming up to me in the mess all the time saying, oh, you are going to marry this Winslow girl. Well, you would better be careful. Otherwise, you'll find yourself up in front of the House of Lords for stealing the adjutant's bath. Things like that. It's not really very funny.
Oh, there's nothing. They're singing the song about us to the our camera. Winslow went one day to found the poor fellow in quad. The fellow said, I used to do it. So naturally, Winslow was gone.
Well, do you see?
Yes, I see. Do you want to marry me, John?
What?
I said, do you want to marry me?
Of course I do. You know I do. We've been engaged for a year now. I've never wavered before.
No, I wavered before.
And I'm not wavering now, not a bit. I mean, tell you what I think the best course for us.
But isn't it already too late? Even if we gave up the case, if we still want to marry the Winslow girl,
Just blow over and no
and we have the allowance,
Yes.
and that's so very important.
Yes, darling. I'm sorry, you're not going to shame me into saying that it isn't.
I didn't mean to shame you.
Oh, yes, you did. I know that tone of voice.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I love you, John. And I want to be your wife.
oh, I want to hear. Darling, I knew nothing so stupid and trivial could possibly come true.
Hello? Yes. Will you wait a minute? Mr. Roberts, come on to the telephone.
Oh, thank you. I'm not interrupting, am I?
No, it's really special.
I say, how delicious. May I?
Thank you.
Hello? Yes, Michael? Effie? Well, no, I didn't know he was going to speak. Yes, I see, yes. Yes, yes. Go on. Yes. Yes, thank you, Michael. There has been a most interesting development in the house. What? My secretary informs me that a barrister friend of mine who, unbeknownst to me, was interested in the case. He got on his feet shortly after 9:30 and delivered one of the most scathing denunciations of the government department ever heard in the House. And what does it give us, Mr. Winslow? His style is quite superb.
And what happened?
Well, the debate revived, of course, and the First Lord, who must have felt himself fair, suddenly found himself under attack from all parts of the House. Well, it appears that rather than risk a division, he has, of this moment, given an undertaking that he will instruct the Attorney General to endorse our petition of right. The case of Winslow versus Rex can now, therefore, come to court. Well, sir, and what are my instructions?
The decision is no longer mine.
So what do I do? And What are my instructions, Mr. Winslow?
Do you need any instructions, Sir Robert? Aren't they already on the position? Doesn't it say, let right be done?
Kate! Good night.
Very well then. We shall have to endeavour to see of everything.
Hello. Violet! Anybody about? Hello? No, not senior, junior. I don't know where he is. Daily Mail. No, brother. Elder brother, that's right. Well, I'm in the banking business. Yes, that's right. Following father's footsteps. My views on the case, well, I don't know I have any, except I hope we win and all that. No, I haven't been caught. I've only just arrived from Reading. Reading, yes, that's where I work. Yes, I've come up to the last 2 days of the trial. The verdict's expected tomorrow, isn't it? 22 last March. 7 years old. No, he was 13 when it happened, but now he's 15. Well, I suppose on anything, I'm a sort of liberal conservative. No. Single? No music prospect. I say, is that at all interesting to you? Well, perfectly ordinary kid, just like any other. Makes noise, does fresh work, doesn't wash and all that. Doesn't wash! Don't take that too literally. I know he does sometimes. Yes, all right. Goodbye.
Darling, when did you get here? Everybody's out.
Well, I do like to meet you.
Straight from Reading, Savile Row, off the peg, it's 37 cents. I say, that's gone all the time.
Oh, all blessed day. In the last 4 days, it's hardly stopped.
I had to fight my way into an army to report to people.
Oh, yes, I know. You didn't speak to them, did you, Vicky, dear? It's best not to say a word.
Oh, I don't think I said anything much. Oh, yes, I did say that I personally thought that he did.
If you did. You shouldn't make fun about things like that, Vicky, dear.
How's it all going?
Oh, I don't know. I've been in court the last 4 days, and I've hardly understood a word that's been said. Kate says that the judge is against us. Sir Robert is so rude to him. Everybody's out. Arthur, lunch. I'll be right down. Oh, and Vicky's here. Kate gets the morning session, then she comes in for lunch and relieves me with Father, and I go to call in the afternoon. You can come with you if you like.
Oh, will there be room for it?
Oh, yes, there is no space. You never saw such crowds in all your life. All the cheering and the applause and people being turned out. It's thrilling. You'll love it.
Well, I don't understand the word.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Everybody gets so worked up, he finds himself getting worked up too. The Robert and the Attorney General going at each other, hammer and tongs. Who wants to hear this? Tell me about petitions and demurs and prerogative and the like. I think it all to do with Ronnie, if you ask me.
How did Ronnie get on in the witness box?
Oh, 2 days. 2 whole days. Mind you, it didn't seem to mind much. He said 2 days with the Attorney General was better than 2 minutes with Sir Robert. Kate said he made a good impression on him.
How old is Kate, Mother?
Oh, all right. You heard about John, I suppose.
Yes, that's what I meant. How's he taking it?
Well, you never can tell with Kate. She never does let on how she's feeling. Arthur, you shouldn't have come up those steps by yourself.
There's an alternative.
I'm sorry, dear. I was talking to you.
Oh, hello, Dickie. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Father.
Forced to adopt a ludicrous form of proportion. I apologize. You're looking very ill. Hard at dinner, perhaps.
Hard work, Father.
Oh, late hours.
Can't keep late out of bed.
You don't keep late hours anywhere. I had quite a report about you from Mr. Lamb.
Oh, good egg. He's a silly old Lamb. Took a racing last Saturday. Had the time of his life. He lost the shine.
Did he? Oh, no doubt, if given the chance, you'd succeed in converting the entire reading branch of Westminster Bank into a bookmaking establishment. Mr. Lamb tells me that you joined the territorials.
Yes, Father.
Why have you done that?
Well, from all accounts, there's a fair chance of a bit of a scrap quite soon. If there is, I don't want it to be all over before I can get in on it.
Well, if there's a scrap as you call it, you'd try better to stay in the bank.
Oh, no, Father. I mean, the bank's all right, but still, a chap can't help looking forward to a bit of a change. I can always go back to the bank afterwards.
Oh, no, Arthur, you can't do that.
Why not?
It annoys the exchange.
I prefer to ignore the exchange and have the exchange annoy me. Catherine's late. She's been on 1:30 yesterday.
Perhaps they're having a lunch interval later today.
Lunch? This is a cricket match. Nor might I say is in a matinee of the Guernsey. Why are you wearing that highly unsuitable get-up?
Oh, don't you like it, dear? I think it's Madame Dupont's best.
Grace, your son is facing a charge of theft and forgery.
Oh, well, it's very difficult. I can't be seen in the same dress day after day. I tell you what, Arthur, I'll wear my black coat and dress tomorrow, just for the verdict.
Did you say my lunch was ready?
Oh, yes, dear. It's only cold. I made a salad myself, so I didn't cook her at the trial.
Violet's still with you. She was under sentence last time I saw you.
She's been under sentence for the last 6 months before, dear. Only she doesn't know it yet. Neither your father nor I have the courage to tell her.
I have the courage to tell her.
Only if you don't send it.
I will.
No. So when you sit down, I'll do it.
You see, Dickie, these taunts of cowardice are daily flung at my head. But should I take them up, I'm forbidden to move the matter. Such is the logic of women.
How is he? Will you take him away after the trial?
Oh, he's promised to go into a nursing home.
You think he will?
How do I know? He'll probably find some use.
Surely to lose it this time, he's lost for good, hasn't he?
They don't say, Dickie, dear. I can only hope it's true.
How did you keep him away from the trial?
Oh, Kate and Sir Robert together. He wouldn't listen to me or the doctor.
Poor old mother. He must have been having a pretty rotten time of it one way or another.
Well, I've said my say, Dickie. He knows how I feel. Not that he cares. He never has. He's right. Anyway, I've given up worrying. He's always said he knows what he's doing. It's my job to pick up the pieces, I suppose.
Oh, Dorothy, please, no, I wish you'd get rid of those.
Hello, Dickie.
Hello, Kate.
Don't you think it's the best of what's going to be?
Oh, it looks like it. I can carefully strangle that old brute of a judge, Mother. He's dead again.
Oh, dear.
Sir Robert's very worried. He says the Attorney General's speech made a great impression on the jury. I must say it was very clever. To listen to him yesterday, you would have thought that the verdict to Ronnie was simultaneously called mutiny in the Royal Navy and triumphant jubilation in Berlin.
You're late, Catherine.
Oh, I know, Father. I'm sorry. There was such a huge crowd inside as well as outside the court that I couldn't get a cab. And I stayed to talk to Sir Robert.
Is there a bigger crowd even than yesterday, Kate?
Oh, yes, Mother. Far bigger.
How'd it go this morning?
Well, Sir Robert finished his cross-examination at the postmistress. I thought he would demolish her completely. She admitted she couldn't identify Ronnie in the commander's office. She admitted she couldn't be sure what time he came in. And she admitted she was called away to the telephone while he was buying his 1506 postal order, and that all Osborne possessed looked alike to her in their uniforms, so that might quite easily have been a different boy who cashed the 5 shillings. With a brilliant cross-examination. So gentle and quiet, she didn't bully her or frighten her, just coaxed her into trying herself in love. And then, when he finished, The Attorney General asked her once again whether she was absolutely positive that the same boy who bought the suit and took postal order also testified to it. She said she was quite sure, because Ronnie was such a good-looking little boy that she especially noticed him. He hadn't been left until he done anything. I could see those 12 good men and truth nodding away to each other. I believe it undid the whole of that magnificent cross-examination.
If she thought he was so especially good looking, why couldn't she identify him the same evening?
Oh, don't talk to me, Father. Ask the Attorney General. I'm sure he has a beautifully reasonable answer.
Ronnie good looking? What utter rot. She must be lying, that woman.
No, Miss Kitty. I thought you looked rather well in the box yesterday, didn't you, Kate?
Oh, yes, Mother.
Who else gave evidence for the other side?
The commander, chief petty officer, and one of the boys from the college.
Anything very damaging?
Oh, nothing that we didn't expect. The boys showed he obviously hated Ronnie and was torn to shreds by Sir Robert. The commander said, though, he's an honest man and genuinely believes Ronnie did it.
Did you see anyone interesting in court, Kate?
Yes, Mother. John Wellstone.
John? I hope you didn't see him, Kate.
Yes, of course I did.
Oh, Kate, how could you? What did he say?
He wished us luck.
Oh, what a certainty. The idea of John Wellstone coming calmly up to your court to wish you luck.
Grace,
I think it's the most...
you will be late for the injunction.
Oh, will I? Are you ready, Grace?
Yes, Mother.
You don't think I'm not afraid of it?
What time are they resuming, Kate?
2 o'clock.
2:15 now.
Oh, dear. We're going to be dreadfully late. That's your fault, Kate. I'll bring up finish your lunch.
Yes, Grace.
Promise?
I promise.
Violet will remember to pick up those onions. Perhaps I'd better do it myself on the way back from court.
Now, Vicky, when you get to the front door, put your head down and charge through them all, just like me.
Why don't you go out by the garden?
Oh, I'm not risk tearing my dress on that hedge. Now, come along, Vicky. I always shout, I'm a neighbour, don't show nothing, but don't be surprised.
Right there, Mother.
And we're going to lose this case, Kate. Your last chance.
I know.
Got to win it. What's Sir Robert think?
He seems very worried.
Wonder perhaps if you were right, Kate. I wonder if we could have had a better man.
No, Father, we couldn't have had a better man.
You admit that now, do you?
No, only that he's the best advocate in England. And so for some reason, prestige, I suppose, he seems genuinely anxious to win this case. I don't go back on anything else I've ever said about it.
Paper said that before he began today, he told the judge he felt ill. He might have to ask for an adjournment. And Christy will collapse.
It's just another of those brilliant tricks that he's always boasting about. They got him the sympathy of the court and perhaps... No, what?
Say it.
Perhaps provided him with an excuse if he was beaten.
You don't like him, do you?
There's nothing in him to like or dislike, Father. I admire him.
I trust you do not object to me employing this rather furtive entry. The crowd at the front door are most alarming, so I came to the garden.
Come in, Desmond. Why have you left the court?
My partner will be holding the court. He's perfectly competent, I promise you.
Very glad to hear it.
I wonder if I might see Catherine alone. I have a matter of some urgency to communicate to her.
Oh? Would you like to hear this urgent matter, Kate?
Yes, Father.
Very well. I shall go and finish my lunch.
Allow me.
Thank you. I'm perfectly capable of managing this vehicle. That's with my opening the door.
I fear I should have warned you of my visit, and perhaps I have interrupted.
Oh, yes, and so please sit down.
I'm afraid I have only a very short time. I must get back to court for cross-examination with Judge Edmonton.
Yes, very well.
I have a taxi cab waiting at the end of the street.
How very extravagant of you, Desmond.
Yes, it does show how rushed this visit must necessarily be. The fact of the matter is, it suddenly occurred to me that I had better see you today.
Oh, why?
I have a question to put to you, Kate, which, if I had postponed putting until after the verdict, you might perhaps, who knows, have been prompted by pity if we had lost. Or, if we had won, your reply might have been influenced by gratitude. And do you follow me, Kate?
Yes, Desmond, I think I do.
Then possibly you have something to tell us. What the question is, I have to put to you.
Yes, Desmond, I have.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Desmond. I know I ought to follow the usual practice in such cases and said I had no reason whatsoever.
oh, no. Your directness and honesty are two of the qualities I most admire in you. And I'm glad you have guessed. It makes my task easier.
Will you give me a few days to think it over?
Oh, of course.
I need hardly tell you how grateful I am, Desmond.
Oh, there's no need, Kate. No need at all.
You mustn't keep your taxi waiting.
Oh, follow my taxi. Oh, forgive me, Kate, but you see, I know very well what your feelings for me really are.
You do, Desmond?
Yes, I know quite well they have never amounted to much more than a sort of, well, shall we say, friendliness? Oh, a warm friendliness, I hope. Yes, I think perhaps we can definitely say warm, but no more than that. That's true, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, I know. And of course the thing is that even if I prove to be the most devoted and adoring husband that ever lived, which I may say, if you give me the chance, I fully intend to be, your feelings for me could never amount to more than that. Oh, when I was younger, perhaps it might have been a different story, or when I played cricket for England. Of course, perhaps even that would not have made so much difference. Perhaps you feel I cling too much to my past athletic prowess. I feel it sometimes too. But the thing is, I have not much else to cling to, save that, and my love for you. The athletic prowess is fading, I'm afraid. But there's not much else I have.
Desmond, that's so very charming, you say.
Oh, don't make fun of me, Kate, please. I meant it, every word. However, let us take a more mundane approach and examine the facts. Fact 1, you do not love me and never can. Fact 2, I love you, always have, and always will. Now, that is the situation, and it is a situation which, after most careful consideration, I am fully prepared to accept. Now, I reached this decision some months ago, but thought it would be better to wait until this case, which is so much on all our minds, should be over. Then, at lunchtime today, I determined to anticipate the verdict and let you know what was in my mind at once. No matter what you feel or don't feel for me, no matter what you feel for anyone else, I want you to be my wife.
I see. Thank you, Desmond. That makes everything so much clearer.
There's much more I have to say, but I shall put it in a letter.
Oh, yes, Desmond, do.
Then I may expect your answer in a few days?
Yes.
I must get back to court. Well, how did you think it went this morning?
Oh, I thought the postmistress was told the Admiralty's case at that point about Ronnie and Phil.
Oh, no. It's still the overwhelming fact that she couldn't identify him. And what a brilliant cross-examination, was it not?
Oh, really?
He is a strange man, Sir Robert, at times so cold and distant and...
Fish-like?
Fish-like, exactly. And yet he has a real passion for this case. A real passion. I happen to know, of course this must on no account go any further, but I happen to know he has made a very, very great personal sacrifice in order to bring it to court.
Sacrifice? What of? Another grief?
Oh, no, that would be no sacrifice to him. No, he was offered. You really promised to keep this to yourself.
My dear Desmond, whatever the government offers, it can't be as startling as all that is in the opposition.
Well, that would happen. It was quite startling. It was a most gracious compliment, if I may say so, to his performance as Attorney General under the previous government.
What was the office, Desmond?
The appointment of Lord Chief Justice. He turned it down simply in order to be able to carry on with the case of Winslow versus Rex. Strange are the ways of men, are they not? Goodbye, my dear.
Goodbye, Desmond.
I come in now?
Yes, Father, he's gone.
I'm rather tired of gazing at from the street by eating my mutton as if I were an animal of the zoo.
I've been a fool, Father.
Have you, my dear?
Another fool.
In default of further information, I can only repeat. Have you, my dear?
There is no further information. I'm going to pledge a secret.
Oh? What did Desmond want?
To marry me.
I trust the folly you were referring to wasn't your acceptance of it.
No, Father. Would it be such a folly, then?
Lunacy.
I don't know. He's nice and doing very well at his solicitor.
Not a very compelling reasons for marrying him.
Seriously, I just have to think it over.
Think it over by all means. But decide against it.
I'm nearly 30, you know.
But this is the end of life.
It must be for an unmarried woman without much looks.
Rubbish. Get a proud, live and die an old maid to marry Desmond.
And even an old maid must eat.
I'm leaving you and your mother everything, you know.
Oh, everything.
But it's still a little bit. Did you take my suggestion as regards your Woman's Suffrage Association?
Yes, Father.
You demanded a salary.
I asked for one.
Well, they're going to give you one, I trust.
Oh, yes, Father. £2 a week.
Rubbish.
No, Father, it's generous. It's all they can afford. We're not a very rich organisation, you know.
Something else to do.
Oh, what else? Darning socks is about my only other accomplishment.
Must be something useful you can do.
We don't think the work I'm doing is the other way around. Maybe right. But it's the only work I'm fitted for all the same. No, Father, the choice is simple. Either I marry Desmond and settle down into comfortable, not really useless existence, or I go on for the rest of my life earning £2 a week in the service of a homeless cause.
What's cause? Never heard you say that before.
You've heard of it before. John's going to be married this month.
Did he tell you?
Yes. He's very apologetic.
Apologetic.
He's the girl I know slightly. She'll make him a very good wife.
Is he in love with her?
No more than he was with me. Perhaps even a little less.
Why is he marrying her so soon after?
Jumping in. Because he thinks there's going to be a war. And if the regiment will be amongst the first to go. Besides, his father strongly approves. He's a general sort.
Okay. How I messed up your life, didn't I?
No, Father. Any messing up has been done by me.
I'm so sorry, Kate. I'm so sorry.
Don't be, Father. We both knew what we were doing.
Did we?
I think we did.
And did our motives always been so different, yours and mine, haven't they, Kate? Could we both have been right?
I believe we can. I believe we have been.
And yet they're always so infernally logical, our opponents, weren't they?
I'm afraid logic has never been on our side.
Brute stubbornness. The selfish desire to make defeat. That's what your mother thinks have been our motive.
Well, perhaps she's right. Perhaps that's all I've ever been.
And this brute stubbornness isn't such a bad quality in the face of injustice.
Or in the face of tyranny. If you could go back, Father, and choose again, would your choice be different? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I still say we both knew what we were doing, and were right to do it.
Dear Kate, thank you. You aren't going to marry Desmond, are you?
In the words of the Prime Minister, Father, faith and truth. Winslow takes gold.
That boy shouting.
Only Winslow takes Lakers.
Didn't sound to me like Lakers.
Winslow takes gold.
So,
You must have done a mistake. Oh, Sarah, Sarah.
what's happened?
Oh, Miss Kate, what a shame you missed it. Just after they come back from that. And Mrs. Winslow, she wasn't there neither nor Master Ronnie. Cheering and a shouting and a carrying on. You never heard anything like it in all your life. And Sir Robert, standing there at the table, with his whip on crooked, and the tears running down his face. Running down his face, they were, and not able to speak because of the noise. Couldn't make it sweet if they were crying too. We just couldn't make it. You couldn't, you know. Oh, it was lovely. We did enjoy ourselves. way they were carrying on. Some of them were shouting, "Good old Winslow," and singing that he's a jolly good fellow. And then, cook had her hat knocked off again. Oh, it was lovely. Well, sir, you must be feeling nice and pleased now it's all over.
Yes, Violet, I am.
That's right. I always said it would come right in the end, didn't I?
Yes, indeed.
2 years, all but 1 month, it's been married since Master Ronnie came back that day. Thanks, sir.
Yes.
I don't mind telling you, sir, I wondered sometimes whether you and Miss Kate wouldn't be wasting your time carrying on the way you have. Still, you wouldn't have thought that if you'd been in court today. Oh, sir, Mrs. Winslow asked me most particular to remember the pickups of my niece from the greengrocer, and in the excitement I'm afraid I forgot to get them.
Oh, it's all right, Violet. I think Mrs. Winslow is picking them up herself on the way back.
Oh, I see him. Poor madam, what a spell for her was to get to the court and find it all over. Well, sir, congratulations, I'm sure.
Thank you, Violet. It would appear then that we won.
Yes, Violet. It would appear that we've won.
We'd like to do it.
Sir Robert Morton. Oh, sir,
Thank you very much. I thought you might like to hear the actual terms of the Attorney General's statement, and so I jotted them down for you. I say now, on behalf of the Admiralty, that I accept the declaration of Ronald Arthur Winslow, that he did not write the name on the postal order, that he did not take it, and that he did not cash it, and that consequently he was innocent of the charge that was brought against him 2 years ago. I make that statement without any reservation of any description, and intending it to be a complete acceptance of the boy's statement.
It's rather hard for me to find the words as you speak to you.
Okay. Do not trouble yourself to search for them. Let us take these rather tiresome and conventional expressions of gratitude for granted, shall we? Now, on the question of costs and damages, I fear we shall find the Admiralty rather niggardly. You are still likely to let considerably out of pocket. However, doubtless we can apply flat spurs to personal posteriors in the House of Commons.
Please, sir, no more trouble, I beg. Let the matter rest here. That's all I've ever wanted.
I pity you were not in court, Miss Winslow. The verdict appears to cause quite a stir.
And so I heard. What did the Admiralty throw up the case?
It was a foregone conclusion. And once the handwriting expert had been discredited, and not for the first time in legal history, I knew we had a sporting chance. And no jury in the world would have convicted him on the post which was evidence.
But this morning you seemed so depressed.
Have you done it? Oh, well, yes. The case in the courtroom was very trying, you know. And perhaps I was, a little fatigued.
Oh, sir, the gentleman at the front door said, please, would you make a statement? They said they won't go away until you do.
Very well, Violet. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What should I say?
Well, I hardly think it matters. Whatever you say will have little bearing on what they write.
What shall I say?
Oh, you'll think of something, Father.
No. Decline to make the first of the ridiculous chariot getting myself. No, I could say. I'm happy to have lived long enough to see justice done to myself.
That's a little gloomy, Father. You've been in it for ages yet.
Am I? Let me see. I could say, this victory is not mine. It is the people who are trying. They've always were trying for the despotism. Oh, that's right, you sir. A trifle pretentious, perhaps.
Oh, no, perhaps. But I will say it nonetheless. It will be very popular.
Perhaps I should say what I really feel, which is merely thank God we feel.
Come on. Mind it, sir. Miss Winslow, might I go good enough to ask you for a little of your excellent whiskey?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. Perhaps you'll forgive me not getting up. The heat in that coffin is very troubling.
Are you feeling all right, beloved?
Oh, yes. Just a slight nervous reaction. That is all. I haven't been feeling well all day. I told the judge so this morning, if you remember. But I doubt if he believed me. He thought it was some kind of... Oh, what suspicious minds people have. Have they not? Thank you.
Sir Robert, I'm afraid I have both a confession and an apology to make to you.
My dear young lady, I'm sure one as rash and the other superb. I was proud of again,
I'm afraid you must. This was probably the last time I shall see you, and it is a base penance for me to say it rather than to write it. I have entirely misjudged your attitude to this case, and if in doing so I have ever seemed either rude or ungrateful, I am most humbly and sincerely sorry.
my dear Miss Winslow, you have never to me either seemed rude or ungrateful, and my attitude to this case has been the same as yours. A determination to win at all costs. Only, when you speak of gratitude, you must remember that those costs were not mine, but yours.
Weren't they yours also?
I beg your pardon?
Didn't you too make a very special sacrifice for this case?
The robes of that office would not have suited me,
Wouldn't they?
and what is more, I fully intend to revoke coming to the law society.
Oh, please don't. You did me a great service in telling me.
Well then, you must never divulge it to another living soul, even to forget it yourself.
I shall never divulge it. I cannot, however, promise to forget it myself.
Very well then. You choose to endow an unimportant incident with a romantic significance, you are perfectly at liberty to do so. I must go.
Why are you always at such pains to prevent people knowing the truth about you, Sir Robert?
Am I indeed?
You know you are. Why?
Perhaps because I do not know the truth about myself?
That is no answer.
My dear Miss Winslow, are you cross-examining me?
On this point, yes. Why are you so ashamed of your emotions?
Because as a lawyer, I must necessarily mistrust them.
Why?
To fight the case on emotional grounds is the surest way of losing. Emotions muddy the issue. Cold, clear logic and bucket logic should be the lawyer's only
But then what is cold, clear logic that made you weep at the verdict today?
Oh, I see. I suppose your maid told you that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It'll be in the papers tomorrow anyway. Oh, very well, then, if you must have a hear of this. I wept because right had been done.
Not justice.
No, not justice, but right. It's not hard to do justice. It's very hard to do right. Unfortunately, while the appeal of justice is intellectual, the appeal of right appears for some odd reason to induce tears in court. Now, that is my answer and my excuse. Now, please, may I leave the witness box?
No. One last question. How can you reconcile your support for Winslow against the Crown with your political beliefs?
Very easily. No one party has a monopoly of concern for individual liberty. On that issue, all parties are united.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No, not all parties. Only some people from all parties.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is a wise remark. Well, then we're going to leave up to those some people will always prove enough people. Yes, you would make a good advocate.
Would I?
So why do you not canonize what feministic impulses towards the law court system go, and abandon the lost cause of women's suffrage?
Because I don't believe it is a lost cause.
No? And are you going to continue to pursue it?
Certainly.
Oh, you're wasting your time.
I don't think so.
But this is, you know, in days to come, the House of Commons I shall make a point of looking up the gallery in the hope of catching a glimpse of you in that provocative hat.
I say so, Robert.
Hmm?
I'm most awfully sorry. I didn't know anything was going to happen.
And where were you?
Take the picture. I say, we won, didn't we?
Yes. Yes. We won. Well, goodbye, Miss Winslow. Shall I see you in the house then, one day?
Yes, Sir Robert. One day. But not in the gallery. Across the floor.